It's now time for Matt and Dan in the house.
Well, a very good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Matt and Dan in the house of...
Quack. Hello.
Exactly. Hello,
Welcome
everyone.
back.
Welcome back, one and all. So you can watch us, of course, on our Facebook page at M&DHQ, or on our YouTube channel. Just type in Matt and Dan House of Quark. You find us there. Or listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, Breaker, and, of course, Overcast and Pocket Casts as well, wherever you're listening from or watching us from. Hello. Welcome.
Hello and welcome.
Hello
Yes.
and welcome. Right then, so for today's episode, before we kick straight into our main topics, as you can see in the description, we have got a nice little segment that's quite new actually to the show. I think we only did it once before, so
Yes,
we're bringing it back.
bringing it back.
So before we start with the main topic of this episode 24, we are going to start with our brand new segments, and we love to do it, and I'm sure you love to listen to us doing it. It is...
It's now time for You've Got It.
Right then, so of course now time for Would You Rather here on Matt and Dan the House of Quark. So today I have
Yes.
put together 5 different Would You Rather questions. And I'm guessing you've done the same, Dan, yeah?
Yes, I've got 5 left over from last time. So
Oh, cool. Well, mine are actually fresh out the bag. I did these last
good.
night. Yeah.
oh, good.
Right then, so who wants to go
As long
first?
as you, I think I went first last time, so you may go
Okay,
this time.
so this is my first Would You Rather question. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, of course, you listen, you can take part as well. You can message us. Well, would you rather? So, would you rather date a Klingon or a Vulcan?
Say that again.
So, would you rather go on a date
Oh,
with a
right.
Klingon or a Vulcan?
When you said it, I thought you said a data Klingon, as in
Oh,
being-
right. All right.
data being a good
No,
Klingon.
no, date a Klingon or, yeah. Or it could be have a relationship with a Klingon or a Vulcan. Here we are. Maybe we will
Yeah.
say that way.
Yeah. No, that's all right. So data Vulcan or a Klingon.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Can I say neither, or do I have to actually pick one?
I mean, it's good if you pick one.
Yeah,
and
okay, because that's the game.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I don't know, because like obviously, I'm quite needy, so
Right, yeah.
Obviously with Vulcans, they have no emotions, and I think that would piss me off.
Yeah.
I need, I'm quite,
Yeah,
I need something like to.
Mhm.
I mean, unless it's T'Pol, because she's quite emotional, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, actually. Vulcans are probably the most emotional creatures, really, aren't they? It's just
Yeah.
obviously they oppress them.
Yeah,
Mm.
suppress them. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think I'd be too scared to date a Klingon in terms of, yeah. I'm going to say Vulcan. I think just because I don't know. Oh, this one's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of it as like from my point of view, really. Like I'm quite needy. I need
Yeah.
I need something back, if that makes it in terms of like,
Mhm.
within in a relationship type thing. I think I'd be too scared of because I mean I think Klingon females are quite scary rather than
Mhm.
male Klingons. I think I would be very much intimidated. It's like
She'd be wearing the trousers, wouldn't she?
yeah, she would. Yeah. I'm gonna say. I mean, I would like to say neither, but I think it just. I think probably a Vulcan if it could be T'Pol, because
for the purpose of the exercise, I'm gonna say.
yeah. It's a good question. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably a Vulcan, because I would be too scared to date a Klingon. But then I think I'd have to.
But then it's that that you don't get anything back, I guess, emotionally, do you? Really? See,
No.
I mean, the Vulcan one. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by that. I mean, that can be a good thing as well at the same time, because then maybe they won't get irritated by like habits and things. Do you know what I
This
mean?
is true. Yeah, this
You
is true.
know,
This is
or
true.
like there'll be like no like I mean, I'm probably gonna sound really sexist now, but it's not gonna be like, like uh, no silent treatment, something like that. No, she's annoyed at me, nothing like that. I just think because she have no emotional response to anything. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So, and me, I can be quite irritating sometimes. So maybe having a Vulcan probably be good for me, to be honest.
yeah.
However, Klingon, I would say she'd be a girl that you wouldn't take home to mama. She'd be. I just think you wouldn't take her home. I think the Klingon would be a lot more fun. I think it'd be crazy times with the Klingon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That I agree with. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go for the Klingon. Yeah, I think it might
Really? Okay.
be fun. It might just be a bit of it might be a
Yeah.
learn just learn the crazy Klingon language. I mean, obviously you have the Vulcan language, but I imagine the Klingon language has been a lot easier to learn.
Mm, mm.
And the Vulcan, yeah, I know. I think the Vulcan. Well, put it this way: I think the Klingon one would be like going to parties all the time, having a bit of fun, whereas the Vulcan one probably be watching really old films and reading books all the time.
I'd rather that though.
Yeah.
Actually, I think. Yeah. Actually, I think even though I mean, like I said, I'm quite needy. I think I would always be worried that I'd be doing something like if I pissed someone off who I'm
Yeah.
like in a relationship with, and like they gave me nothing back. I'd be like, it would annoy me, and like it would cause me great anxiety if I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
know if I'd pissed them off or not.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I think I would be more comfortable with the Vulcan. um,
Well,
yeah,
there we are. I mean, this was quite an interesting one. So,
that was
if
an
you listen,
interesting one. Yeah.
if you listen out there, would you rather date a Klingon or a Vulcan? Right, then. So, what's your question, Dan?
My first one is: would you rather be second in command to Kirk or emissary of the prophets?
So, second in command with Kirk,
Yeah, or
or
emissary to the
emissary of
prophets.
the prophets.
Because I mean, you could
Ooh,
either work with this great captain
yeah,
who you admire, or you
yeah.
could be emissary to the prophets, be this really important person.
I'm going to say work under Kirk. I think
I
actually,
thought you might.
I think embassy to the prophets. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, would I have to just hang around Bejor all the time, won't I? And then you know, nah. I think I think nothing wrong with them, of course. But I mean, I think I think I like the idea of hanging around with Captain Kirk. I think it'd just be a lot of fun, and William Shatner's hilarious. So
Yeah,
I'm
fair
going
enough.
with that.
Hmm.
What about you?
I would probably go emissary to the prophets. I quite like being, this sort of go between, the Bajoran people and the prophets, and yeah, I think it's quite a nice responsibility. Maybe too much responsibility. I don't know,
Hmm.
but yeah, I would say emissary to the prophets. I think,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and I think people would. I think I'm quite good with advice and stuff, and listening to people's
Yeah.
and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Like a Jesus Christ.
like
Yeah.
a Jesus Christ. Yes,
All right, then. Okay. Like
yes.
that. Right. So my next one. Would you rather
Hmm.
a vacation at Riser or a night out at Quarks?
That's a similar one to one I've got later on.
Oh yeah.
Riser or Quarks?
Quarks.
Quarks. I think that's an easy one for me, actually, to be honest, Matt. I think I would rather a night out at Quarks.
Same. Yeah, I think
Um,
so as well. I think because we always got on about how we like the idea of space stations, isn't it?
mm,
And like, interact with all different alien species and stuff. So I think I would be a lot more fun as well. Like, don't get me wrong, Rise, I imagine be nice to like, relaxation. Rise is kind of like a cruise. That's what I always
yeah,
picture it as, it's
yeah.
that sort of relaxation sort of, getaway. Whereas Quarks is like, I can imagine stag nights happening there and stuff. I can imagine stag nights happening there and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
So
think with Quarks as well, you've got a lot to do. I mean, you can have a drink with Morn, or
yeah.
you could play darts with Bashir and Miles, or you can play Dabo or Tongo or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Or you could
Yeah.
go up and have a holosuite thing. So he's
Yeah.
actually got quite a decent business as Quark, actually, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
yes, yeah.
And you can have food as well. You can have a meal there as well. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could spend the whole night there. You could literally do like a night out
Yeah.
all there. You could have your
All
pre-drinks and your
day.
food, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and then absolutely.
I think that smashed it then. Definitely night out of
Yeah.
Quarks then. There we go,
Yeah.
yeah. There we are.
That's where we're going for our 30th is Quarks.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right then. Shall I do my next one?
Yes.
Would you rather be a Ferengi barman or a Cardassian tailor?
So a Ferengi barman
Yes.
or a Cardassian tailor?
Yeah.
So basically Garrick.
Yeah, or Karko Garrick, basically.
Yeah.
But like you have to be
Hmm.
you have to be a Ferengi or a Cardassian. You have to like actually have the ears or the neck ridges.
Okay. So with that I would probably say Cardassian then actually, because
Really?
because Ferengi obviously, as we know, started off, they were meant to be this, quite big, mean antagonist, weren't they? They were meant to be like
Yeah.
the next Klingon sort of thing, weren't they, for TNG? And in the end, they became this sort of weak, funny characters, which I'm happy with, by the way. That's exactly how I want them. But if I was going to choose, I think I'd like to be a Cardassian because I don't know. It's just
But you
they
have to do the job as well, mind. You have to be a tailor.
yeah. Well, I quite like how Garrick is really like sarcastic and things, and
Yeah,
and quite sassy in it, kind of reminds me of Judge Ring does for some reason. I don't know why.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good analogy, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I think I'm going for that. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I would say the same, actually, Cardassian tailor. Just
Uh-huh.
because one, I think being a tailor is quite creative, and I think I'd be good at it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point as well.
And two, I mean, I've worked in bars and I hated it, so I don't think I'd like to work as a barman. So yeah, I would probably say Cardassian tailor myself, actually.
Oh, we are. We agreed on that one as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to my next one. Would you rather be taken captive by the Romulans or the Cardassians?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Romulans or Cardassians? Wow. I mean, one's, I guess, a physical torture and one's a mental torture, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would probably say, I'm leaning towards Romulans, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd say Romulans, actually, because I think, I know, I find, I mean, especially when Picard had his sort of, when he got captured by the Cardassians, it was quite, I wouldn't like to be put through that. So, yeah, I think it's just, I think for me, yeah, I think probably Romulans. I find them less intimidating, actually.
Yeah,
than
I
the
was thinking
Cardassians.
that. Yeah, I was thinking because of the Cardassians, I was just thinking, the whole lights thing. It's like, how many lights do you see? And I was just like, I get on my nerves.
Yeah.
Whereas I can imagine Romulans being less, I guess, barbaric with the torturing.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Cardassians, like we were talking before, Cardassians are fascists. They are literally, they just see you as nothing really. Whereas Romulans, I think, like if they held some for ransom, I imagine Cardassians holding some for ransom and they would proper torture them and things. Whereas Romulans, I imagine, not necessarily obviously look after them, but I don't think they wouldn't be as bad because they're not as barbaric really with their ways.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, and I think as well, I don't like being like hurt, like physically hurt. So I think
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
Romulans, you might be less, you know,
yeah. You know,
you
it's
know what I
like,
mean?
how many lights do you see?
Yeah.
The four lights.
There are four lights. Yeah, I'd rather be taken by the Romulans. I think it would be
Yeah,
easier.
yeah, yeah,
What-
yeah,
yeah, and you'd agree.
yeah. I agree with that. 100%. I agree. Yeah.
Awesome. Uh, although I wouldn't mind, being. I wouldn't mind, Galdecott. Actually, I quite like him if he's doing it. And,
Hmm.
I didn't mean for that to sound like sexual in any way.
No, no,
Um,
no.
anyway, we'll move on. Uh, would you rather an away mission or an alien space battle? So, would you rather beam down to a planet, or would you rather, you know, be involved in a battle?
I think beam down to a planet
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, that's why I like Star Trek the most is the
yeah,
exploration part. So I like, exactly exploring strange new worlds. Like that's what
mm.
it's all
And
about.
first contacts and stuff, and meeting.
Yeah,
Fresh.
like I know that the battles are like a bonus, like and
Yeah,
things, but I don't know if I really want if I cared that much about battles, I'd probably just watch Star Wars. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point, actually. Yeah,
yeah.
that is the difference, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I do like the battles. I'm not saying I don't like them. But me personally, I'd want to join Starfleet, not to fight. I'd want to join Starfleet to
yeah.
explore. So
And that's what it's about, isn't it? Really,
yeah, yeah.
it's kind of a last resort thing for
Hmm.
Star Trek, isn't it? We'll only
Yeah,
fight if we have to. So
yeah. I mean, like I said, we always talk about the difference between like Captain Kirk and Captain Picard. Like Captain Picard is like negotiate, negotiate, and then Captain Kirk's like blow him up.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go for explore. I think
Away mission. Yeah,
away
I'd
mission.
rather an away. Yeah, I'd rather an away mission as well. To be
Yeah.
honest, I think not just beaming down to a planet, but anything. It could be beaming onto another spaceship or like I quite like the episodes where they find like episodes where they find like random spaceships or like
Hmm.
things floating about and they beam onto them. I quite like those
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I'm
stuff like
gonna.
that. Yeah,
I think we agree on that as well. Then
yeah,
there we are.
awesome.
So would you rather Ferengi ears or Klingon forehead?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one, Matt. That's a
yeah.
good one. Ferengi ears or
Klingon forehead.
Klingon forehead. Honestly, I think I would rather Ferengi ears. I would
Yeah.
love. I would love. I mean, even though they're quite sensitive, because you get. I mean, you do see Quark sort of screaming in pain at sometimes, don't you? Like
Yeah, yeah.
they are they are quite sensitive, aren't they? Klingon ears, Ferengi ears. But
Ferengi ears.
I would just love a good sense of hearing.
Hmm.
Um,
But you want about them being sensitive. Also, they use them for pleasure as well, don't they? It
yeah,
says like
yeah,
feel my lobes and all that. So
yeah.
you get that.
Is it Umox, isn't it? Umax.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think as well. I mean, because I know because recently I rewatched a DS9 episode because I finished DS9 last week and I went back
Hmm.
and watched a good episode, the episode where they do the casino heist,
Yeah.
and you got Nog trying to open the safe with it using his ears. So they're quite useful for things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And because there's that episode where Nog, because the on the Defiant the communications go down, so Nog
Hmm.
has to use his ears to relate between engineering and the bridge, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So actually, they are quite useful having Klingon it. Keep saying Klingon ears, Ferengi ears.
Yeah, yeah.
So and obviously pleasure as well, um, and yeah, and I
Yeah.
think they look cooler as well. Actually, for me, you know,
Yeah. I think yeah, well for me looking cool, I always think Klingon foreheads look cooler, me personally. However,
that's just taste at the end of the day, isn't it?
yeah, but I do agree though with the Ferengi ears. I think the Ferengi ears again they being sensitive, and all that, they can be, but they can be obviously for pleasure. So I'm gonna go for Ferengi ears as well, actually. I think again they just a lot more useful.
Mm.
Because if I was going to gain something, I probably want to gain something that's useful, not just cosmetics, you know. So yeah, I'm going to go for Ferengi ears. Yeah.
Go back to the Klingon thing though. Because obviously you've got like the golden age sort of Klingons like Worf, or you've got the
Yeah.
new style like Discovery.
Yeah,
You know what
true.
I mean?
I mean,
So
I like to just think of the golden age of Wolf when I think
yeah,
of the
yeah.
full Hedrick, because
I
I
thought
think Wolf looks brilliant. Like, you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fantastic. Like, but yeah, I'm gonna go for the Ferengi ears.
yeah. Awesome. Yeah, me too. Cool. My next one is similar to one that you asked at the start, but it's also different.
hmm
Would you rather a holiday on Riser or the holodeck?
Ah. Hmm. Now, I guess you could potentially just run Riser in the holodeck.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
But
was
that's
just
not the question.
no, no. I guess with holiday you can go anywhere though, can't you?
Yeah,
Um, but then Rise is real,
yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So
And you're guaranteed a good time,
yeah,
weather-wise, pleasure-wise,
yeah. I mean,
leisure-wise. You know.
as much as I love the hollow deck, and I think like again you can go anywhere. You can even go to Rise if you wanted to, and all that. I think I'm
Mm,
gonna pick Riser because I just think it's real.
yeah,
It's natural, real location and stuff in space, and I think it's yeah. Well, everyone talks about it, so it gotta be good. You know what I mean?
it's
If
a
it wasn't,
very yeah,
yeah.
it's a very popular destination, isn't it? Really?
Like if it wasn't that good, like sure they would all just go to the Hollow Suite all the time or whole deck,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But they don't. They all actually try and take time to go there. So I
yeah.
want to know what it's all about. I want to know what the crack is. So I'm going there.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
bet like the travel agents are quite, booked up, with
Yeah,
where
yeah.
would you like to go? Riser, oh, it's fully booked, sorry.
Yeah, well, everyone says Riser. We might as well have on a sign on the door saying Riser.
Yeah.
Book your holiday to Riser now, because no one's going anywhere else.
No, yeah, exactly. I would say the same, to be honest. If it's a holiday you're talking about, then definitely Riser, because
Yeah,
it's like you say, more real. It's more
yeah,
more of a holiday in that you pack your bags and you go, rather than just you know going to the holodeck, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, yeah, definitely.
Cool.
It's more of like a shore leave type thing, isn't it? Rather
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you actually get off the ship,
hmm
and yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Definitely.
good old
Yeah,
Riser.
good old Riser. Good old Riser. Right, and so my next one: would you rather have Q powers for the day, so the power of Q,
Yeah.
or um, Betazoid telepathy for the day?
Ooh. Oh. That's a good one. You've got some really good ones. Might have been not mine. Have been. Um, so would I rather have Q powers or have telepathy like a Betazoid?
hmm
I'm gonna say I quite like the idea of being omnipotent like Q.
hmm
I think with a Betazoid, obviously you can read. I think it would get on my nerves if I could read people's minds and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, as you know, I'm quite a sensitive person, so I think if somebody was feeling grief, I would also feel their grief, and it would have. I think personally, it would affect me just as much as them, if that makes sense, because I
Yeah, yeah,
am
yeah.
quite a sensitive person. So,
Uh-huh.
uh, not that not that I would shy away from that. I'd always
hmm
help anybody if they're in trouble, but like, I think, I think I would rather be omnipotent. I think I would rather just, uh, you know, yeah, go anywhere, do anything,
hmm
magic things out of thin air, and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
hmm
Yeah,
And let's remember this is just for the day as well. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
hmm I'm gonna say the same actually. I think Q powers would be a lot more handy.
Yeah.
Would yeah, it could do a lot more. I mean, it'd be interesting having telepathy though. Like, I think you
Mm.
know. I mean, also, could you like not tell anyone that you've got them for the day? Do you know what I mean? So you're literally walking around, you're like, I know what you're saying. I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think Q powers would be. I think you get a lot more out of
Yeah.
it.
And you could be mischievous, or you could,
Yeah, yeah,
do it for good. Or, you could
yeah, yeah,
create
yeah.
some miracles or something like that. You could go and help the needy if you wanted to. You could probably do a lot of good in the world. If that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
If you had powers for a day, you could, go around and
Mm.
help the homeless or help the starving, or
Hmm.
help. Or you could be
Hmm.
mischievous and you could go and annoy people that you don't like.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You just play pranks on people all the time. I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go for Q.
Yeah,
Q.
me too.
Q.
Cool,
Q.
cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Excellent.
Awesome.
All right then. And my next one is, would you rather a Constellation class ship or a Galaxy class ship? So Constellation
Hmm.
class is obviously what you see in the original series, and Galaxy class
Yeah.
is what you see in the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would you
I'm
rather?
gonna say Galaxy though. I'm gonna say because
Really?
it's a lot. Well, they are a lot better though, aren't they? They are
Yeah.
a lot more modern and they. Yeah, I think it's just better technology. I think I love the TNG Enterprise as well. I think it looks great. Um, they really did. Um, I mean, I've got the old Enterprise here on just on my side on my speaker, and I love it. But I think Picard's Enterprise just looked. I don't know. Just looked a lot more. Just looked cooler, really. Just.
Yeah,
I
it
just
looked
think, yeah,
a lot more futuristic, a lot
yeah.
more.
There we go. That's a better way of putting it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go for yeah, Galaxy Quest, Galaxy
Galaxy
Class,
Quest.
Galaxy Class. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I think I would agree with that, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I'd rather it's a lot more powerful, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And, you
Mhm.
know, you can get a lot further into space with it
Yeah. 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 No,
as well.
definitely.
And yeah,
Mhm. I 100% agree. Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Wow. Well, that was Would You Rather. Remember, of course, if you'd like to take part in this, just type down your answers in the comment box on Facebook or wherever you watch it, or YouTube, baby.
Or YouTube, yeah.
Anywhere you're watching this from or listening from, please
We'd love to
let us
hear.
know. Of course,
Yeah,
we'd love to hear, of course. What would you rather?
yeah.
So that
Your
has been. Ooh, carry on, what are you saying?
No, I was gonna say, your dating preferences, or which
Yeah.
things like that. All
Yeah.
right then.
Please let us know what would you rather. Right then. So that was Would You Rather.
It's now time for You've Got It.
Right then. So, ladies and gents, it's now time, of course, for the rest of episode 24. And today's episode, if you haven't read the description yet, is all about Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I've been waiting for this. I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this.
So, of course, this isn't Star Trek, but me and Dan made it clear that we want to talk about other sci-fi shows as well as Star Trek. So, of course, we talk mainly about Star Trek, as you can see with our Would You Rathers and our Trek news and all that. But now and then, we like to chuck in some other shows.
Yes.
In the future, we'll be doing a Farscape one as well. So, obviously, look forward to. Because we haven't done Farscape
Yeah.
yet, have we? No, we haven't. No,
I can't remember,
I
if I'm
don't think. I
honest.
don't think we've
Not
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not specifically. I know we've
Yeah,
mentioned it,
I
but
think we've
not.
mentioned it, but we will do an episode on them. I'm sure we will
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
coming future. Right, and so Battlestar Galactica, we're going to talk about, of course, what we liked, what we didn't like about it, key moments or episodes. We'll talk about characters as well, and, well, the production as a whole, and any other things, of course, that we can think of as we go through the discussion.
Yeah.
Right then, so Battlestar Galactica. So I watched this before you, didn't I, Dan? And then I
You
got
did,
you
yes.
to watch it. So I watched this only well, I finished it just this year. I started watching it, I think, just before Christmas. Just before Christmas. And then I just finished it. Obviously, I think it was about a month ago. I think I finished it. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. I think I
Um,
was watching it. I was when you were watching it. I was watching Farscape at the time. So.
There we go. Yeah. So this was actually quite new to us, wasn't it? This show,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
only just watched this ourselves. It was on obviously the BBC iPlayer. That's where we got to watch it, which was fantastic. The BBC put that on there. So I want to know, Dan, did you like it?
I absolutely loved it. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that you suggested it, and I just want to say, like, it just goes to show, like, if you say something's good and recommend it, then I know it's going to be good. Because you were right about Farscape and Firefly as well, and you were right about Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, it is brilliant. I loved it. Great show. And I can't believe I because I've heard of it, but I
Yeah.
never really knew what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't even know that it was actually a original series in the 70s.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I
I
didn't know
didn't know
until
that.
halfway watching this one actually. So yeah,
Yeah.
to make it clear as well to everyone, we are talking about the the 2000s one, isn't it? It came out in the
Yeah, I think 2004 it started.
2004. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know about the whole 70s thing because I think I was reading up about it and I was like, oh, I didn't actually know about that. So, oh yeah, I think, well, my opinion, I think it's just amazing writing in it. It's
Yeah,
just one of them shows. It's like, it's not just a science fiction. It's also a brilliant drama.
yeah.
I know it won awards, and I can see why. It's
Absolutely. We
yeah,
probably just give a bit of background about it, like what
yeah.
it's. So it's basically like humans again. They built these sort of machines, if you like, called the Cylons,
Hmm.
and for years they were at peace with each other. But then the Cylons sort of attacked their home world, didn't they?
Hmm.
To like they wanted to dominate the humans, and they
Hmm.
Caprica. They bombed
Yeah.
Caprica.
Hmm.
And so the Battlestar Galactica is the main ship, and they have other ships like the fleet, don't they?
Yeah.
They have other ships.
Hmm.
So they flee Caprica, and they get chased around the galaxy
Hmm.
by the Cylons. And then obviously we'll get on to what happens later on.
Hmm.
But that's basically what it's about.
Hmm.
They the Cylons are chasing them around space because they want to be the dominant sort of
Hmm.
force in the galaxy, don't they? Really.
Hmm. But then this the beautiful part. So basically, obviously, as we know, right at the start, it explains how the Cylons obviously, well, they basically went away, didn't they, for years
Yeah.
and years, and the humans didn't know nothing about them and everything. And there was a space station, wasn't there, where they basically were meant to meet up, and the Cylons never showed up until one day they finally showed up. However, what we learn as well, then, well, it's kind of a bit of a dramatic irony to it, isn't it? Because we know it, but lots of the characters at the start don't know about this, where basically the Cylons have got so advanced with technology where they can actually make themselves look like us, look like humans.
Yeah.
So they live. So basically, we find out then, as the series goes on and things, obviously, that they're actually Cylons living amongst the humans all the time,
Yeah.
and and obviously, as you said, they want to be obviously the dominant, say, race or whatever, in the galaxy. So, yeah, they had the humans down, but then it's this lovely thing, isn't it? Because they sort of become so advanced with like humanity. A lot of them become human, don't they? Like too human, a lot of them,
Yeah. They kind of develop the human. They're because they kind of develop human traits over their sort of Cylon traits, if you like.
yeah.
Don't they?
Mm-hmm. And then they sort of start gaining things like feelings and things, don't they?
Yeah,
And
that's it.
and things
Feelings
like
and
that, and yeah.
their own thoughts and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like things like ethics and morals and stuff. Like they develop themselves, and they.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I think it was just, it's very, the series, I said, we'll explain obviously more as we get along, but I just find the series was very, like, it's got you hooked, didn't it?
It hooks you straight away. And what I love as well, I mean, because one criticism I did, well, it wasn't really a criticism because I didn't give it a chance, but I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but one thing that did annoy me at the start was when I first watched the first couple of episodes, because you start with the miniseries,
Mhm.
I was like, oh, there's so many damn characters. I was like, I'm never going to get to know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
never
know.
going to get to know all these people.
Mhm.
But one of the beautiful things about the series, especially early on in like series 1 and 2, each character kind of gets their own episode in a way. I find like it's not all just about the Brit or the control room. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
called the CIC, isn't it? The control room.
Mhm.
It's kind of a nice amalgamation of, I guess, being on the bridge and being in the lower decks. Each character, even though there are a lot of characters,
Mhm.
and I mean a lot of characters,
Yeah, yeah.
there's quite the series sort of flows. Each episode kind of is about different like each character gets their own episode in a way.
Yeah, yeah,
Gets
yeah.
gets focus and like say, I mean, like Captain Dharma, I guess, is like the main guy,
Mhm.
but like there are episodes where he's just in the background and one of the lower characters has the
Mhm.
focus of the episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so that kind of was a lovely thing. It helped to sort of you sort of get to know all the rest of the characters that way.
Mhm.
And you get to like them or dislike them if you dislike them.
Mhm.
So that was one of the things that struck me early on. Really, is yes, there are a lot of characters, but it does very well to sort of develop each character, and they're not like a lesser character. They're all kind of. I
Mhm.
know there are main characters, but they are quite
Mhm.
equal in the same at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, it does. Yeah, because they all have their own episodes. So you get to learn a bit more about them, and then
Yeah,
how they fit in with the rest of the series, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
I just found, like, as we were saying, that there's Cylons who live amongst the humans, and we learn who is Cylon. That's what I love about it. But it's very kind of like a detective show in some respects, but like
yeah.
you as the viewer is a detective by trying to work out who is a Cylon, because there's like times where I mean, you could really like love a character, and you said, like, you learn about them in an episode. Oh wow, I really like that character. Like okay, the best example I think is probably Boomer, maybe at the
Mm,
start, because Boomer is like kind of quite a hero, isn't she?
yeah.
She's a good pilot and stuff. And then we find out that actually Boomer is, I mean, spoilers here. Boomer is actually a Cylon.
Mm.
You know, and it's interesting. It's kind of like, I don't know about you, but I found as a viewer I wasn't sure how to respond to her. Then I was like, am I meant to like her now, or do I not like her because is she a bad guy now? You know what I mean? And that's, I don't know, it's quite complex. The idea is Cylon, does that mean you're bad, or does that mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just that sort of,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
at the start we're taught to sort of like hate them, aren't we? Like, yeah,
yeah.
Cylons are bad and all that, and can't trust them, and you know,
Especially when you've sort of grown to like a character, because I quite
mhm.
like Boomer, and then when I did find out that she was a Cylon, I actually I did feel like taken back a little bit. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I was not
yeah,
expecting that. I know what you mean. You don't
hmm
know whether to is she
hmm
meant to be good or is she meant to be bad, because she
hmm
does. I mean, what I quite like about that is I mean, this is going on to key moments, I guess, but she asks Dr. Baltar to do a Cylon test on her, and he lies to her. He says, "No, you're not a Cylon," but actually,
uh-huh.
uh, she is. But even herself, when she does find out that she's a Cylon, it kind of, which I think is quite a good character moment, is that she
hmm
herself
hmm
um, is quite shocked that she's a Cylon and she doesn't know how to deal with it, and I think that's quite nice. Um,
Yeah, and it's like, obviously she goes out with I forget his name, but the chief, isn't it?
Chief Tyrrell, yeah,
Yeah, Chief Tyrrell. That's it. Chief Tyrrell, of course, who is okay. We're gonna, again, spoilers. At the
yeah,
time, was human.
yeah. At the time,
Yeah, 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 yeah. This is what I mean. It's so hard to like talk, at the start of the series at the end, because it flips around, doesn't it? Completely. Like, I was telling you this.
Mm,
I was saying, like, you wait for all these twists, like,
I
'cause
know.
you do
Yeah,
not see them coming. You're like,
you
what?
don't.
He's
And
not.
yeah, exactly. Oh
Yeah,
man, it's like I
yeah,
say, you were so right. There's so many twists and
yeah,
turns.
yeah, yeah. It's
I didn't know what was coming next.
yeah, it's
And it was quite clever how they ended. I'll let you finish your point in a minute, but it was quite clever how they ended certain episodes on cliffhangers and stuff. Because you do find yourself going, because it's been a long time since I've watched something and an episode's ended. I'm like, no, don't end there. I need another episode. Because sometimes I find myself, I can wait until I watch the next episode. But with Battlestar, I was like, I need to watch the next episode to see what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But carry on what you're going to say.
Well, I just think it was very, with Battlestar Galactica as well, like I said, it was very, very clever the way it was written again with, as we were saying about how the audience member sort of conceives a character and how they respond to a character. Because even like Boltar, obviously Dr. Boltar Gaius, isn't it? He's well, like we know what he did at the start, right? So really, he comes across as this sort of, I guess, quite weak, pathetic character, and he's but he, you know what I mean? But he only cares for himself, sort of thing. Like he gets on the spaceship, doesn't he, with Boomer, and then they go up there, and then he obviously joins. They find out he's a doctor and blah blah blah, and because obviously, he can help with medical things and what have you. But then I find there are times, even in the series, where you sort of take his side as well. It's weird, do you know what I mean? And then it's like, but no, he's a sleazeball, really. You know what I mean? And but there are times where you take his side, and there are times when you completely hate him, it's just I don't know how they managed to sort of play with our heartstrings. So do you know what I mean? Like it's so clever.
Absolutely. And I think every character has that, even like the president. I mean, you kind of agree with some of her decisions, but then the episodes where she asks.
Well, she like turns around now and then, and says, "Oh, actually, we're gonna just chuck them through the airlocks." And you're like, well, I thought you were like this nice woman, and now you're thinking about throwing people overboard.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, she has. This is another spoiler, but she has terminal cancer, and you kind of feel sorry for her in that way. But yet she makes these decisions where you kind of go, "Are you?" Like that's not correct. You can't do it. Like the episode where she kind of tries to get rid of or tries to hide Boomer's baby.
Yes.
Hera. She tells Hera that the baby's died, but she actually
because obviously because that's not actually not Boomer. That's Boomer's twin, isn't it?
Oh yeah, well yeah. That is the thing that did confuse me. Out of all of the Cylon models, there were so many bloody Boomers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of all of the models, I think that model, I think Boomers was the number 8. I think
it was number 8. Yeah.
Yeah, number 8.
All the Cylons are all numbered, by the way.
Yeah. There's 12 models as well, by the way.
Yeah. I tell you one character though that really I turned straight away against her. Okay, was Dee. Now I absolutely loved Dee at the start. Okay, I did.
Yeah.
At the end, I started warming to her again. I'll be honest, right? But at the start, I loved her. The character, she seemed nice, she seemed pleasant. The actress seemed really nice and fresh as well. I thought, she seems like a really nice person. You know what I mean? And I thought, wow, the actress who plays her as well, it works really well. And I was like, I really like Dee. I think she's a great character. She's strong, but she's also, I don't know. I had this nice, fresh sort of, I don't feel for her. I don't know. She just seems like a really nice person, right? But then, obviously, she starts getting quite close to the guy who worked underneath the president. And I was like, oh, that's nice. He's a nice guy. And then she just throws him away to go out with Admiral Adama's son. And it's like,
yes.
You horrible, you know what? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
So I was like, I don't like you now.
That moment really, really annoyed me. And then he which even annoys me even more, he actually died for her. He jumped in front of
I know.
I liked what was his name? Billy. He jumped in front of a bullet for her and
so
gave his life to save her.
She
Yeah.
wasn't that like, yeah, okay, like soft and gentle sort of character. So I saw her as, this really nice person. I don't get me wrong, if she doesn't like Billy, she doesn't like Billy. I'm not gonna force her to like someone, but at least just say, Billy, I don't think it's gonna work. You know what I mean? At
But
least
also, like, she kind of strung Billy along, really, which
yeah, took him for the
isn't,
ride, like,
yeah,
and
which isn't
then
the greatest of feelings,
yeah, and
being
I
strung
was
along.
exactly, and I was like, D, I liked you. I don't like you now, D.
But that goes back to what you were saying about the writing. Like the writers were so clever about
Mm,
how they developed these characters. I
yeah.
think it's just it's one of those shows where I highly praise the writing because it does
Hmm.
you kind of you really feel for the characters, and like you say, it's they make you turn against the characters, and it's
Yeah.
or characters that you hated at the start and you liked at the end, things
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I mean, obviously, kind of like I guess another example would be like the number six. Obviously at the start because obviously she's a big part of like the explosion and stuff. But then you
Mm.
end up. It's weird feeling sorry for them as well, like some of the number sixes and it yeah.
Yeah, because the number six that was aboard the Pegasus, I
Mm,
felt sorry for her.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so the Battlestar Pegasus, we should say, is
Uh-huh.
another kind of Battlestar ship that they meet that's also
Hmm.
fled from Caprica. Because for a long time they think they're the only survivors of
Hmm.
the fallout. Um,
Yeah,
but they end up meeting this other Battlestar called the Battlestar Pegasus.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and there are actually, I think the episodes are called Razor, where it kind of focuses on Pegasus's journey a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's at the start of season 4. I think.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and sorry, and so they have a Cylon number 6 model, but they treat her really badly. They beat her, they rape her,
Yeah,
they
it's interesting how the two different ships sort of adapt to like the new world of the new world of Cylons being chased by Cylons, and how Battlestar Galactica is sort of adapted to it in a completely different way than the other ship did.
Mm,
How where they obviously again you just said they locked her in a dungeon basically and just beat her up and things.
yeah.
So it is interesting how, and I think that that I mean it kind of reminds me. I always think of these sort of things about like robotics and stuff, and like people talk about like in the future will robots be like asking for um kind of like human rights in a way, you know what I mean? Like will they be
Mm,
able to get like citizenship and things like that? Because even though they're not a biological being, are they still beings because they have their own thoughts and stuff or whatever. And it kind of reminds me of a book called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's by Philip K. Dick. It's what Blade Runner is based on.
oh right, yeah.
And
Well, the guy who plays Captain Under Armour was in Blade Runner, wasn't he?
yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah. It's probably why I was thinking of Blade Runner while I was watching it
Oh,
as
there we
well. Yeah.
are.
But it's that I mean the book sort of questions like does it matter if it's not real sort of thing? Like there's a lot of things about uh like artificial feelings and things because it's a thing they wake up and they can like set their emotions to however they want to set it to like happiness
Mm.
or joy or something. And I remember reading that and going, oh, that's really strange. But like it sort of ends on that as well on the book. If anybody read the book. And I know there's a big thing about animals as well. Like there's a lot of artificial animals that live with them. Like that's what's called Do Animals Dream of Electric Sheep because he gets electric sheep. Um, but like but it's like if it's not real, as in like fully flesh real. If it does it matter if it has the same effect? Do you know what I mean? Is that sort of
Yeah.
thing? Does it really matter? Kind of with the emotions. Yeah, the emotions are fake emotions but they still, they make you. It feels real. So if it feels real, then I mean, obviously, a Blade Runner it goes into sorry, the book as well as Blade Runner goes into things like was you imagine having sex with them and things like that and blah blah blah. But then I think that's part of it, isn't it? As well, they're sort of yeah, does it matter if it's not real? If you, I mean, a good example is, obviously, the human and Cylon relationships that starts happening, in the series as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously not Boomer's second Boomer, isn't it? Wherever I can't remember her name. What's her?
Athena.
Athena. But then Athena's boyfriend, he turns out to be a Cylon, doesn't he? Is he a Cylon? I can't remember.
Hilo, you mean?
Yeah, is he a Cylon?
I don't think he's a Cylon. No,
No, he's not a Cylon, is it? I get confused
No.
who's a Cylon, who's not a Cylon. It's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
it
Well,
shows like as well. Yeah, it's what it's like.
Yeah.
So he's not a Cylon, I don't think. But they have. Well, they have a relationship where they actually have a baby. That's right. So he can't be a Cylon because obviously the baby obviously is half human, half Cylon, isn't it? It's meant
Yeah.
to be the future of the Cylon race or whatever, or the future of humanity. So what I'm trying to say is, it's kind of like, well, does it matter that she's not technically, say, real or biologically real? He still has feelings for her. Do you know what I mean? And so does it matter, sort of thing? So I always find it's a lot of questions on that. Kind of reminds you of a film as well by I can't remember who directed it now. I'm not sure it was Kaufman who directed it. Might have been. It was. Have you ever seen the film Her, where the guy basically falls in love with an operating system? It's basically an Alexa sort of thing.
No,
He
I don't
falls in
think
love
I've
with it.
seen that.
Yeah, but
That
it's
sounds
that
interesting.
kind. Yeah, no, I'll see if I can find it. I think it's called Her. It's a good film, and it's that kind of thing of humans falling in love with artificial intelligence and things like that, and
Yeah,
and I think it's like, it's kind of like, when you think about it, just saying that, you think, oh, that's weird, or that won't work, but then I think these sort of programs play it on. You're like, oh, actually, I don't know. Actually, maybe that could be a thing one day, and if it is a thing one day, would it be a problem? You know what I mean? Or
Mm.
would I think of it as a problem? I don't know. It's just interesting, and that's what I
Yeah.
love. That's what I love about science fiction. You can sort of play around these, because these sort of things, I think, in the future will probably be, well, real. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
And
one thing because it's the thing with Battlestar Galactica, it is mainly just about these machines and robots. There's no other aliens in it, and that's, or like other species, should we say?
yeah.
It's kind of humans and
Yeah.
Cylons that is other focus, and I love that aspect of it, that it's something different to like what we like with Star Trek, like finding different aliens and different species and stuff. This one's just humans or Cylons or both.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So I love that aspect of it, and it's kind of set in the not too distant future. With Star Trek, it's set, I guess, thousands of years later or hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
But with
Well, actually, I was going to talk to you about this, because I feel like you predicted the ending on the first season. Because something you said.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking about what you said, and then I only just watched the finishing episode, and I was like, I think Dan worked it out. Because
remind me, because I've forgotten.
Well, I personally, the way I worked out Battlestar Galactica at the end, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I completely misinterpreted this whole thing wrong, right? But Battlestar Galactica is technically set in the past.
Yeah, this is what I got from watching the last episode. Yeah,
but you said that. You said, you said it. I don't know. I think you said it without really thinking about it that much. You were like saying, because we were talking about Battlestar Galactica. You said, because one thing we picked up on Battlestar Galactica, we are talking about the production as well, which is quite interesting. So of course, it's like a futuristic, it's a futuristic style, isn't it? As in like spaceships and robots and blah 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 and all these things going on. But then it makes me laugh, Battlestar Galactica, how it's like, oh yeah, we got spaceships and blah blah blah, and then it's like, can you get the tape out the camera? And they're using like VHS and things, or you know what I mean? And I used to make me laugh, or like really old radios, and like, well, surely by then you'd have better technology. But then also it's set in the past, because obviously at the end, again, spoiler alert, but don't watch this episode if you don't get spoiled. We also find out that well, it's it's set in the past because they move obviously to Earth, or New Earth, isn't it?
Or New Earth, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously old Earth was wrecked. So they go to New Earth, and then they decide to basically give up technology, didn't they? They decide to give up their machines and stuff because she becomes the girl, doesn't she? Like the new age of man or whatever. So
Yeah.
so basically, the way I saw this then, which blew my mind, was that it was set then in modern time after that. So then right at the end, it's like our time, isn't it? They're like in New York or wherever they are.
Mm.
And then they're talking about the little girl being like a kind of like a tribal cave girl, isn't it?
Yeah, like
But
an
then,
ancestor.
yeah, but then she's obviously, I guess, the future of it, because then I guess, does that mean humans have sort of Cylon and human DNA then mixed together? I don't know. And and then, but obviously it's set in the future. Oh, it rattles my brain.
It does rattle your brain.
yeah, yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
I can't remember what I said specifically about predicting it.
You said something like it's a set the past, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And then it was like, I think, yeah, it was something you said. I was like, oh, Dan literally predicted it in the first season. Like it was.
I think that was a subconscious thing.
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
Subconsciously predicted it, because it did. When I watched the ending, it did take me a little bit by surprise. But then, yeah, you kind of forget things.
And also, it made me think, because obviously, well, I think we see 6, don't we, at the end, don't we?
Yes.
And it makes me think, like, is it meant to be going on as a cycle? Then is the same thing going to happen again and again? I don't know. You know, it's that. I don't know,
Yeah, maybe. What if it might just be like a, like a what's it called? Like a, you see him in Star Trek all the time, sort of time loops.
Yeah.
It could just be a time loop. What if that's set in a time loop, and it's just going to happen again and again and again?
I mean, the whole constellation thing made sense, though, isn't it? The idea, obviously, we moved to Earth, and then because they kept talking about there's a 13th tribe, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think the idea of the 13th tribe is actually them all together as one. That's the 13th tribe, because obviously they all live separate, like, Gemini, and I know it's based on the constellations, isn't it? Well, their races or whatever their identity is, isn't it? And then obviously move to Earth. So they keep that then. Like, I'm Gemini, so I can't remember what my planet would have been called, or what my area of space is. Like, can't remember.
Well, I would have been Caprica. I would have been the main one.
There we are, yeah. But then they all move to Earth, and then I guess the 13th tribe. They always talk about the 13th tribe, like knocking things off now. And the 13th tribe obviously ends up being, well, everyone put together, isn't it? Everyone from different parts of,
Yeah, because they say the 13th tribe was, the Cylons. That was the Cylon tribe, and then obviously they, they kind of do that alliance thing, don't they? And they kind of move to New Earth together, don't they? Yeah. It does rattle your brain.
No, it really does, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a key moment in itself, I think, the ending of that, because it really is. It's like, whoa. I mean, it's so much to take in as well, Battlestar Galactica, I find.
There's a lot going on. I mean, one thing I was going to pick up, but like, I guess it comes under characters / key moments, is like there's quite a lot of important character arcs that sort of move the series along. So you've got obviously you've got the baby Hera. She's meant to be this important thing that's gonna unite human and Cylons, bring peace. But then you've got like this mysterious character of 6, because I mean, I thought she was just like the only one, and when she turned out to be like I thought she was just something that Gaius saw, like himself.
Yeah.
I actually realized that she was a Cylon herself. I thought she was going to be important, and then I thought, well, actually, is Gaius, because for a while I thought Gaius was a Cylon himself.
Yeah, well, he did. Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of character arcs that are important to help move the series along. People like Starbuck as well, which I love, because you don't find out actually that she's that important until like the last series.
Yeah.
I just think she's just this bratty sort of pilot who doesn't like, people telling her what to do and stuff, and that.
Mhm.
But she actually turns out to be quite important to the end of the series. And
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? So I think
yeah.
there's a lot of key characters with key
Mhm.
arcs,
Mhm.
character arcs,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, no, definitely. No, I 100% agree with you on
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Because
kind of like the key to unlocking the plot, if that's a good phrase to
yeah. No, 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 that makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
use.
No, definitely. I just find it's just Battlestar Galactica as well. Really, it explores like how people and how the characters change and stuff through like different environments as well. Like
Mm,
when they made was it Kafrika 2,
yeah.
and you know obviously Gaius decides to surrender to the Cylons because the Cylons obviously find them, and then
Mm,
how it all changed and how some of the people join the Cylons because they have no choice or whatever, and how it's all played, and how Gaius obviously well, obviously they're very mad at Gaius, and obviously as we know, but obviously they make that council thing when they finally get away from Kafka 2, and then
yeah.
they start like throwing people overboard of who were involved with the Cylons, kind of like a Nazi sort of hunt sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was absolutely. That is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas then Gaius, obviously, he got to have a trial, and then it's so interesting. I mean, I and that character who played the lawyer guy, the guy was fantastic. Like, he was
Oh yeah,
so
the
good,
Irish guy. He always,
so
yeah.
good. I love that. And it's just so well written. Like even like, like the court case scene. Like, and it was. You even went, oh yeah, Gaius, he's innocent. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
so well done. It was because I was like, oh yeah, Gaius, he's obviously, he's in the wrong. They need to lock him up or execute whatever they decide to do, and blah blah blah. And then the lawyer's so clever, like the way, like, and you can think of like how I don't know. It's kind of like I love how Battlestar Galactica, even played on that really well, like the power of like some really good lawyers, and
Mm,
how they can make someone as I guess you could say was evil at one point, because what he'd done, but then you do end up saying agreeing with that. Yeah, he's innocent. Because in a way you could argue it wasn't really his fault. He had no choice, sort of thing.
yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
kill the people himself and all that. And
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if he hadn't have surrendered, they would have shot him. They would have
Yeah,
killed him.
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's obviously what
Um,
they argue and stuff, and that's what they're saying. Well, what would anyone else do in the situation, that sort of thing. So it's kind of, I don't know, it again, kind of like a whole Q thing where it's kind of like humanity on trial, isn't it? Sort of thing. I think.
yeah, exactly. And I think it kind of highlights the I guess the humanity aspect of it, in that,
Mm,
like, guilty or not guilty, everyone is entitled
mhm.
to a fair trial.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess, and that sort of thing. And about the trial episodes as well, with like Gaius on trial, I quite like the fact that Lee Adama, Captain Adama's son, was like
Yeah.
part of Gaius's defense team, even though he wasn't sure whether to believe Gaius or
Hmm.
innocent or whatever. He was made to
But
represent
he
him.
believed in obviously the
Yeah,
idea of democracy and
yeah,
yeah, having a fair trial, isn't it?
yeah,
Which was again, yeah, it's yeah, it's interesting. Kind of like I tell another character that made you go up and down was I can't think of his name now, but he gets the actor gets involved with um you know them fan films that we were watching. He gets involved with one of them. I can't remember which one. I saw him in an interview. Um
Who does he play in Galactica then?
I can't remember his name.
Oh,
The he's a criminal. He's a criminal. So
oh,
I know
he
terrible his
becomes
name.
his vice president or
Yeah,
something.
him.
Well, he ends up being president, doesn't he, for a bit?
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously
Was it
we
Tom? Is it Tom
I
Sarek or something like that?
yes, yeah, I definitely Tom. I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Tom Sarek, I think.
It's a Sarek. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
There's
That
so many
actor guy was
characters.
actually in the original 70s series, you know?
Was he really?
Yeah, he played
Wow.
do you know what he played? Captain Adama.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That must have been so weird for him on the set.
Yeah. So especially his scenes with Captain Adama, like, I used to play you.
Yeah.
um,
But I
but
mean,
yeah,
that character at the
yeah,
start, we first see him. He's a criminal, in prison on that prisoner.
yeah. So, for some
ship.
very heinous crimes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously he becomes obviously a politician, and
Mm,
then he actually saves the president,
yeah.
doesn't he? He helps her when they're on New Caprica, and you think, oh yeah, he's obviously like turned himself around, and you start thinking he's a good guy, and then he turns
Mm,
around again. So again, that's another character that you're up and down with all the time. And
yeah.
yeah, this is what I'm going to say. This again, actually, I think Battlestar Galactica is literally the way it's done, because it's obviously humanity saying exodus, isn't it? Obviously fleeing from their world, but also puts humanity on trial of how we respond to each other, and how it's a lot of questions on ethics and things, I think, as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
absolutely. It was, yeah, like
yeah,
very clever in that way. Go back to Tom, I think, as well. Like the fact that he actually gives the presidency back to President Rosalind
yeah.
in exchange for, you know,
Mm,
because he could have just quite easily be like, "No, I'm president now." But he
yeah.
actually gave the presidency back, uh, and then he ended up again. You kind of like you say, going up and down, up and down. He ended up, you know, conspiring in a
Mm,
mutiny against Adama. So I think
yeah.
he's a very interesting character. For me though, I mean, character-wise, I think my favorite character arc is Dr. Baltar Gaius,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
has quite the journey. Like he goes from a scientist to vice president to the president to this hated guy on trial, and then he yet becomes like a leader of a cult.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they all, yeah. They
So
yeah. He becomes like a prophet sort of thing,
yeah,
doesn't
like a
he?
prophet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that character arc is brilliant. But like we've been saying, each character has their specific arc, and it goes
Mm,
up and down, and yeah. But I mean, for me, I would say that I don't know about you, but
mhm.
my favorite character is Dr. Baltar.
I think I'm gonna agree. I think I'm gonna say the same, actually, because I think it's just a. I mean, the actor who plays him is fantastic as well.
Mm.
Kind of reminds me of Dr. Bashir for some reason. The actor.
Well, yeah, because you said this. I
Yeah.
think you probably said this on a earlier podcast when we,
Yeah.
I can't remember what
I
episode,
just
but
find he looks like him and sounds like him. That's all.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think the guy who played Bashir could have quite easily have played
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Baltar, and vice versa. I think the guy who played Baltar could have played
Yeah.
Bashir. So,
Bashir. Yeah. Yeah. I can't was gonna say now. Am I?
oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's gone. Um. But no, I absolutely loved it. I think it's the actors as well are just brilliant.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they're just like it's such a great performance. Um, brilliant, and how they turn from good to bad, and and just just brilliant. Kind of
Uh,
like as well, on like New Caprica when we have so so you're on New Caprica, and I can't, again, I'm terrible with the names. I am. That's my problem. Um, the guy who works underneath the admiral, the guy with no hair. Um, oh, what's his name? You know what I'm on about. The best friend, Captain
oh,
Adama's best friend guy,
oh, Colonel Ty,
Colonel Ty. That's it. So
or
Colonel
yeah,
Ty, I
Sol
like.
Ty.
Yeah, when he's with his wife, obviously, and then obviously he finds out what his wife has been doing, and
Mm,
his wife obviously sneaks information to the Cylons, doesn't he? Doesn't
yeah,
she? And then he just decides to kill her
yeah,
on the spot, like,
yeah.
and it's just like, that's your wife, like, and you just decided. I mean, don't get me wrong, she wasn't a great wife, as we know.
No,
she slept around, but it's
she
just the
did.
fact that again, she was a great character as well, though, really well written, into the story. But it's the
And
fact that
she ended up.
yeah.
Yeah, she. Sorry, go on.
No, no, I said it's just the fact that he just killed her on the
Yeah,
spot,
And she, I mean, but then she actually, another spoiler, she actually turned out to be a Cylon.
Yeah.
One of the one of the final five Cylon. Because in Battlestar, there's this big thing about the final five, this mysterious final five
Mm-hmm.
that nobody knows, and you kind of wonder who they are. And I quite like.
So I'm singing Jimi Hendrix because that's the song they can all hear. You know,
Yeah.
they
Oh,
can
is
hear the
that
song.
it?
It's
Is that
Jimi
it?
Hendrix. I'm sure it's a Jimi Hendrix song.
I was going to ask you about the song actually.
Yeah.
I love how that comes about as well because it's actually and this is the other clever thing. It's about how it's written. It's a song that Cara Thrace Starbuck gets taught on the piano by her dad
Yeah.
when she was a little girl, and that song is the song that unlocks the final five in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just so like to have it go that deep, like it's just brilliant how they worked it all out, how they even came up with that idea of writing.
Yeah, it's so big. That's what I'd say. It's
like a spider web.
yeah. Because obviously that's a song she played. Was because she's playing the piano, isn't she, with some pianist guy?
Yeah.
And then she talks about she plays piano with her dad. It's a song, and
Well, I think,
then the little girl who like basically writes out the notes.
Yeah,
isn't it? And they,
I think that person she's playing the piano with is actually her imagining her dad. I don't think he's actually real.
Yeah.
If you can remember, because obviously there's that shot at the end where she turns to him, but he's not actually there.
Can you say that again, but slowly? Sorry, trying to get this in my mind. So, what do you think again?
You know when Starbuck is playing the piano in the bar.
Yeah.
The song, and she's learning the piano.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy says to her, play what you played as a little girl. That guy, I don't actually think he's real. I think that's her imagining her dad when she was a little girl.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. And that's what confused me then. I was like, the what?
Because it was her dad that taught her the song.
Yeah.
Because you got that at the end of the episode. Colonel Ty says to her, how did you know that song?
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, I've been playing it since I was a little girl. And then the shot reveals that just her on the piano, not the guy. I think it was her dad.
That's a really good, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah. Well, I think anything's believable on Battlestar Galactica. What I've seen. So I was looking as well at the song. So the song actually, I think, is by Bob Dylan. I'm sure Hendrix has covered this though. He has, yeah. They do play the Hendrix one as well. So the song is All Along the Watchtower. So there must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief.
Yes, because actually she says that, doesn't she? Actually, in the last episode, Starbuck and Adama asks her to get them out of there. Like she says, "I'll spin up the FTR drive, get us anywhere." And she goes, "Oh, there must be some way out of here." She actually says it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And it's actually a lyric from that song.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that she ends up taking them to New Earth.
So I was just reading this. Well, so it's the song that everybody has been trying to find, where Kara is awkwardly learning how to play the Final Five theme, and it says in brackets, "All Along the Watchtower" on piano is formerly known as Kara Remembers, but more often known as the Final Five theme. Yeah, should we listen to it?
Let's listen to it. There's another question I was going to ask you, actually.
Oh, yeah, go.
Well, talking about songs, is about the theme tune, like at the start. Is that from anywhere, or is that just something they made?
Yeah. I love the theme tune. I'll be honest, it reminded me a lot of Gladiator when I first heard it. It's that whole like it just reminded me of the Gladiator theme tune. From the film Gladiator.
I've not seen it, so.
Oh no, it's kind of like that. How to explain Gladiator music? It's kind of like this really like epic,
right?
Like choral. Or like Latin singing.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
I like the drums, where they like.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I love as well the opening bit was like and then it explains like Cylons or like 5 humans or whatever, and
Yeah.
they're on.
I love
yeah.
how it changes from when they're on Caprica, it changes from finding a home to like whatever it says. I can't remember what it says, but and then I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right. Shall we watch the listen to the Bob Dylan one? That's the original. Yeah.
I don't mind. Let's listen to the. Oh yeah, all right. I don't mind what we listen to.
Right, so what we're going to do now, folks, we're going to listen to All Along the Watchtower, and we're going to listen to the Bob Dylan version, which I believe is the original. So, all right then. So that was, of course, Bob Dylan, All Along the Watchtower.
Yes. Was that a harmonica in the, obviously?
Yeah. That's, he always plays his...
Nice.
Bob Dylan, yeah. I was just reading now. See, I just noticed they had the lyrics down the bottom. So I'm just reading some of these as well. Trying to work out why this song as well. It's interesting. It's like I don't know that's the name of the title of the song, All Along the Watchtower. Is that anything to do with?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, because they're the Cylons who live amongst the humans. I don't know. Are they on the Watchtower? It's yeah. But obviously, this is the song that they can all hear all the time, isn't it? And obviously, she plays, and they write the notes then, which ends up being kind of like coordinates, doesn't it? Coordinates, to.
Yeah.
It's so clever, like how
it's integrated into the series, how it becomes this important.
I mean, put it this way, right? So, Battlestar Galactica, we talked about just the basic premise of what the show's about. Like we talked about how it's about, the Cylons, the humans, they don't get on, Cylons invade, the humans go running. So, that's a basic, generic kind of sci-fi show. But there's so much more to that. It has that basic premise of just, on like an exodus on Flea to a new home. And then there's all this other stuff involved with it, where it's kind of like we said, humanity is on trial. We have then all these twists and turns with how Cylons are actually living amongst the humans, and the writing team they even managed to put this song within it, and it's so nicely like tied in, and it's unbelievable how I you know what I mean? I mean, how did they like expand on all this? Did they start with the idea of fleeing and then, do you know what I mean? It's just so much in it. It's just, it's a lot to take in, Battlestar Galactica, and for it only being, what is it, 4 or 5 seasons long? It's not long at all.
4, yeah.
4. It's 4. It's just so much in it. Like,
I think I was thinking this yesterday actually, like after mulling it over, like I think 4 series was enough. I think they timed it very well, actually.
I think so. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I think any more it would have kind of dragged a little bit.
Yeah,
they timed it very well, and they it must have had a structure, like a 4-year structure or something, like I'm just wondering if they kind of had sort of, right, we'll do this in series 1 and then we'll build on it in series 2, series 3, like in a structure type way.
Yeah.
Or if they kind of just went, episode by episode. I don't know. It kind of is, like I say, I refer to it as a spider web, really. It's kind of like this.
That is a brilliant description of Battlestar Galactica. It really is a spider web. I mean, like you say, what it's about? What is it not about? Like, it's.
I tell you one thing that I liked as well, and especially the last episode, because like how at the start of the episodes they go previously on Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
There's so much you kind of forget what happens, and then you go, "Oh my god, yeah, I forgot that
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
watching the last episode, and it was where the final five are. They put their hands and they kind of they do that link with the guy in the bathtub.
Yeah,
you know,
Again,
and
this weird theme, isn't it? The whole reboot bathtub thing.
yeah, and they go, oh, we'll see each other's memories, and I think Chief Tyrrell sees that I can't remember. I can't remember what her name is. What's her name? She used to be the president's sort of right hand lady, right hand girl.
Is it the one who gets with Gaius as well eventually? Is it her?
No.
Young
If you
one.
go along, yeah. Tory. There
Oh
we are.
yeah, I
Tory.
got him here. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we
Yeah.
are.
So so obviously they're seeing each other's memories by doing this link thing, and he sees that Tory ends up booting Callie out of the airlock. Remember?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Callie was Chief Tyrrell's wife and the mother of his
Mm-hmm.
son in brackets. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot that happened. Because
Yeah.
so much goes on. But I liked that I forgot it because I was like,
Mhm.
it made it a nice shock,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
So much that goes on, but it's quite clever in the way that it reminds you,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. It's very good at keeping you up. If you get lost
Mm-hmm.
in the series, like of where you are, it's
Mm-hmm.
quite good at actually catching you up.
And you definitely need it, don't you? Like
Yeah,
it is definitely, I'd say, a need. You do
yeah,
need to have a good catch up because it is there is, like you said, it's a spider web. It's also one of them shows I think you really do sort of need to pay attention to like
yeah,
even the small detail and things like that. Like I did, like the whole rhythm, they keep hearing music and stuff. I was like, "What's this about?" Like I didn't really think anything of it, and then I was like, "Oh wow, actually, this is."
yeah. You do need to pay attention. You do need
Yeah.
to pay attention. And I mean, I like that it's not just kind of like a
Hmm.
military type thing. There is actually like things like politics going on, and
Yeah.
it's this sort of amalgamation of not
Hmm.
just soldiers and marines and stuff. It's also
Hmm.
politicians and just everyday people and like
Yeah.
workers and stuff. And I think there's even an episode, isn't there, where like that's just focused on the mining ship. The people who do the fuel. There's an
Yeah.
episode, and it's just brilliant that it amalgamates
Hmm.
all people from all walks of life. It's not just a
Mm.
sci-fi series about
Mm.
soldiers and the army and
Mm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's this bit of I think it was because I remember when I was in uni, I was looking into science fiction because I did mine on Star Trek, and it was someone who wrote about this different kind of science fiction, and I think it did put Battlestar Galactica and I think it was military sci-fi, which I would agree to an extent, but not fully, because I'm like, yeah, it is military as in the setting, but it's more than just a military sci-fi. It's everything. Again, like you said, it's politics. It's pretty much everything. It's human and non-human relationships.
Mm.
It's literally, and the whole walks of life thing as well. Like they're saying, like certain parts of like the galaxy or whatever, all different people from different parts. Like if you're from, I don't know, again the Gemini planet, you're probably gonna be a farmer or wherever it is, or you know what I mean, and
Mm.
people from Caprica seem to be like politicians and doctors and things like that. And so you'll be a
That'd
politician
be
or a
me.
doctor, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I quite like how Gaius, obviously, he's not from Caprica, is he originally? But he
No.
puts on like a Caprican accent, they call it, don't they? Like
Yeah.
he actually has like this, which I think was kind of like I think it was like a West Country sort of accent that he has originally or something.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's that kind of you know, in a way, getting away, being on this, on the spaceships going away. It sort of questioned what does it mean to be human? because you're from a certain place. And does class and race or whatever really matter anymore? Because they're all literally on the same boat, like, and because they were saying about obviously everyone should have equal opportunities. Someone from whatever planet should have the same opportunity as someone from Caprica, and vice versa, isn't it? That's the idea. Because that's obviously one of the things that because I know that all the workers, don't they, obviously all go on strike because their living conditions.
Yeah. I think early on as well is.
I lost you.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, say it again.
I think. Sorry. I think doesn't D battle with that as well? That she's actually from one of these sort of lower, I guess, planets, but she's actually working on in the control room.
Because they're known because that's the beauty of this as well, because there's this thing of different cultures mixing together, isn't it? And how can they? And again, that's basically what the world is like now, or always have been. There's always been different cultures trying to mix and stuff, and and that's a great example. That is because obviously her people, they're very funny about taking medicines and stuff, aren't they? And they don't like the idea of taking, and that's actually a thing in the world. There are certain communities who don't like to get involved in anything medical or whatever. They don't, they don't believe or agree with it, So, and that ends up being, kind of this whole thing about ethics, isn't it? And in the end, obviously, we find out that doctor actually turns out that he didn't like that certain race of people, and it was
that's a good episode.
It's really clever because obviously he's a person of power. They all say like, no, he wouldn't do that, and it turns out it was genocide. He was going around, and again, and that's another theme of it as well. Which Battlestar Galactica has everything, literally everything on it, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's got the law. It's got politics. It's got crime. It's got punishment. It's got
religion.
It's got religion. It's got relationships, sex. It's got it all. Watch Battlestar Galactica now. Like, it's got it all. Like, And also, carry on. No, I was going to say, and also, let's not forget as well, Battlestar Galactica is just, it looks amazing as well. It really does. Like, production-wise, it has all this, but also it has, like, the Cylon Raiders. And they're so cool. They're really cool to look at.
That's scary, man.
Yeah. So you have that part of it as well, Sorry, what was you saying? I do apologize.
I was gonna say I quite like going to the religion thing. I explores the fact that it has believers and non-believers. And they kind of work together because obviously I think some parts of the world, I guess, it can get quite nasty between people who believe and don't believe, but in Battlestar Galactica it kind of forces them together, and they kind of have to understand and live with people's beliefs. Do you know what I mean? Because there's that big thing, it's kind of like they're trying to find Earth, and it kind of goes down the whole religion aspect. Even though Captain Adama is a non-believer, he has to believe President Rosalind's beliefs, because that's what leads them to the first Earth, if you like. And I love that aspect. I think it's quite a nice sort of, like I said, I think people, non-believers and believers, can get quite nasty in this day and age, and I think
I agree with you on that. I 100% agree. I think people can just because they have different opinions on things, and definitely. I was gonna say I'm happy you brought that up, actually, about the religion thing, because I think, in a way, okay, like we said, Battlestar Galactica being a trial of mankind and stuff, it is kind of like, it's weird. It does sort of picture what the world is kind of like in some respects. Obviously, the world has got all different problems in the world, and it's the idea that, and religion is one of those things, isn't it, of how we can try and make sense of the world, and belief, and because they talk about Earth as if it's like, that the promised land and stuff, and heaven, isn't it? That's the idea, I guess, would be what we would say. So and religion can play especially you can imagine them sort of difficult times, like believers or non-believers. I think having faith or some kind of connection to a religion does really help, and I think that really does show that, because they do sort of, because the captain Adama actually goes against himself, doesn't he, at the start? If you remember, like he actually does the whole speech. So, there's a 13th colony, and we are on search for them, and the gods, and all this, and blah blah blah, and so say we all, and and that becomes part of it. But that's what gets people together, isn't it? But then, as the journey goes on, obviously you have, again, all the non-believers and the believers. Obviously, they they go against each other. They repel, don't they? Obviously, but it's it. But what's interesting, whether or not the gods were real or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The idea they both had the same goal, was for a better life, isn't it? I think that's the whole
Yeah, and to
idea.
reach, to
Mm,
reach a better
yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was going to say something else, but I can't remember. I could say a lot about it. Like, I think that's one thing that we've made clear, is that you could say a lot about Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. It's just so much to talk about.
So much
It's
happens in it. A lot
yeah,
happens in it.
yeah.
I like how it ended as well. Actually, this is one thing I think we should
Mm,
pick up on, is that it's quite a nice ending in a way, because the
mhm.
other day I was talking to my neighbor actually about this the
Okay.
podcast,
Oh, okay.
and then it got onto other, got about Star Trek and stuff, and about
Hmm.
Battlestar Galactica, and as you do, is you're putting the washing out, and you sort
Yeah.
of you're talking to your neighbor, and he was saying that he kind of didn't like how it ended, um,
Okay.
with them being on that planet with the the Neanderthals, and
Uh-huh.
and I actually quite like that the ending. It's quite a calm ending, because they've
Yeah.
been through so much.
Uh-huh.
They've been through so much war and battles and sort of
Hmm.
turmoil. It's actually quite a nice, calm. Like the whole last episode is kind of like it like all of the loose end gets tied up at the
Hmm.
start, and then it's the rest of the episodes of them just sort of filtering back into the. It's quite a nice, calm
Mm.
ending, and I love
Yeah.
it because they've been through so much. It's quite nice that they do kind of live happily ever after, I guess, in a way.
It's kind of like mankind has decided to just reset,
Yeah.
or just wipe away all the, because when you think about it, at the end of the day, we're all just animals, really, aren't we? I know people say we evolved from animals, but what I'm trying to say is we are just living things, and obviously with life, we do put a lot of stress on ourselves, don't we? With
Mm.
everything, like life can be stressy. I mean, like life now can be stressy with all sorts of things. Could be emotional problems that could be related to things like work, bills to pay. The list goes on. And I think, what Battlestar Galactica really does there as well. It talks about, what is most important thing, and the most important thing obviously was just life, wasn't it? And just getting on with things, and because they came from quite a complex sort of society, where this whole idea of like race and well, I mean race as in like the whole
Mm.
Caprica and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
and all these different like political problems that they had, you know, and which caused a lot of different, well, quite a lot of violence and things on board and things like that. Where they finally hit the homeland and decided to actually, the way we did things may have not been the best way at all, and maybe we need to reset. And it was basically like a reset of mankind in a way, where
Yeah.
they just decided to, like I said, live with the Neanderthals and all that. And I can understand why some people may not like that idea. Maybe they might have thought they might have been like a way of out of it. Maybe that's what your neighbor thought. I don't know, but I don't. I quite liked it. I think it was just, like I said, it sort of ripped out all the negative parts of being human. Really, like the whole worrying about what part of the constellation you're from and all that. I know that obviously it's still in our society now, but we don't. Well, it's not a serious thing. Because I'm a Gemini, treat
Mm.
me like a Gemini, it's, but you know what I mean? It's
Bloody
that sort
Gemini.
of thing. It's no, I quite liked it. I think
I thought it was quite a beautiful
yeah,
ending, to be honest. It's
yeah.
um, yeah.
And just seeing the little girl obviously playing, I think that's a great scene as well. Just
Yeah,
from
yeah,
obviously living on a ship all their life and then suddenly got to play outside and things. And yeah, I think it was. I mean, I always think it must have been hard for them to like try and just adapt to this new world of basically living like cavemen sort of thing. But obviously, I know they obviously would have built homes and stuff. But you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like it's
yeah.
basically got rid of technology and everything to start again. Well, you think technology went against them as well. So really, when you think about it, resetting is probably the best thing because technology is what caused the whole problem in the first place because the Cylons, you know.
And it's quite a nice sort of lesson, I guess, or the moral of the story is, when things are
Mm.
going wrong, sometimes it is just best to sort of start again.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
When it's got so bad, all you need to do is just
Hmm.
start again,
Yeah,
go back to basics,
go
square
back to
one.
basics exactly. Yeah, which they shown
Yeah,
obviously, and I liked it. I
yeah.
did. I think, and also the way they set it in the past, sort of, and it comes to modern day in the end. Then it's weird. It makes it feel real in a
Mm,
weird way, even though it's not. It's a TV program, but the way they've done it, do you know what I mean?
mm. I mean, there's a lot of good, sci-fi moments and sort of
Mm,
sci-fi visuals, like you were saying about the. I mean, I love
mm.
how and also the Cylon base ships, the kind of the X kind of design of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So many nice sci-fi visuals, but it's
Hmm.
also really good drama as well. Like,
Yeah.
so it's quite a nice
Hmm.
amalgamation, I guess, is
Yeah, yeah.
of sci-fi and drama, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's just a fantastic show, and I'm really happy we discussed this because I think it's so much more than just a good show, isn't it?
yeah. I don't know what I'm going to watch next now, though.
No, I know.
I kind of feel lost with that, to be honest. Yeah, I'm so glad you recommended it. So, yeah,
I mean, I
if you
haven't
want,
watched anything new, but I'd like to know if anyone out there like to recommend anything. That'd be great.
yeah, let us know. Um, or I mean, if you want to know good shows, just be friends with Matt, I guess, is the moral of the story, I guess.
I need to find a new show. That's what I need to. I'm trying to think what a lot of people watch now. I know. I think of Babylon 5, maybe. That's quite a popular one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Babylon. Is that anywhere? I don't know.
I think that's on Amazon Prime. I
How
think
is it?
so.
Yeah.
So maybe try that out. Maybe I don't know what it will be like. I don't know, but I actually haven't seen the Mandalorian yet. Actually, the Star Wars one. I haven't seen that, and people keep going on to me about that.
Speaking of the Mandalorian, Katie
Yeah.
Sackhoff is in it.
Oh yeah.
Who
Okay.
Katie Sackhoff, of course, plays Starbuck, Cara Thrace.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She's actually in the Mandalorian.
Oh.
In fact, go back to my discussion with my neighbour whilst I was putting the washing out the other day. He was saying about this other one on Netflix. I think it's called Another Life,
Right.
and Katie Sackhoff is in that as well.
Oh, cool.
Um,
But she's a great actress.
yeah,
Actor. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard of her. I've heard of
Yeah.
her like before, but I think Battlestar is the only thing I've actually seen her in.
Yeah, same actually. Well, I don't know. It's a familiar face. I think I don't know, but she's the only thing when I see her face, I only think of Battlestar. But yeah, I know.
Yeah, I love her.
Mm.
You should follow her on Instagram as well. She's great on
Oh,
Instagram.
okay, cool. No, I'll have a look. Definitely. No, I will. I'll definitely have a look at that. Yeah. But yeah, I think overall, Battlestar Galactica, yeah, fantastic.
Great series.
Yeah, 10
Great
out of
series.
10. Amazing. Really well written. Too
Yeah.
well written in some respects. It's
Yeah,
like it's so
too well written. Yeah,
yeah.
they kind of they they outdid themselves. The
Yeah,
writing
yeah.
team, they outdid themselves. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you watched it, watch it again.
And just look at that. I mean, the Cylons there. I mean, if people who aren't
Mhm.
watching, see, I mean, just the look of those Cylons, they're so cool, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so awesome.
Well, I think the older ones, isn't it, have more like they're like lights, aren't they? Like and they show
Yeah.
them, don't they, in one of the episodes?
I love that because
Yeah.
that's a nod to the '70s series, isn't it?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
bring
yeah.
those back. Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
of a helmet design rather than what.
Yeah, and it's the light thing that goes back and
Yeah,
forth. I remember.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. I love that, and I
Yeah.
love that the spaceships do that as well.
Yeah, yeah,
It's quite a nice. Oh man, Battlestar Galactica.
yeah. Fantastic. Right then. Wow, that
Awesome.
was a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Wow, only 4 points, and we got so much out of it. Right, and so thank you everyone for listening or watching us. Matt and Anna House of Quark. Remember, of course, you watch us on our Facebook page or watching us on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, Breaker, and of course, Overcast and Pocket Casts as well. Wherever you're listening from or watching from, thank you so much for listening or watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't believe we're on episode 24 already. Unbelievable.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy, yeah.
Nice. We'll be celebrating our 1 year anniversary soon.
I know,
Of
yeah.
the podcast.
Of the podcast, yeah. Right, it's ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to say live long and prosper today because we always say that. Instead, we're going to say, so say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all. It's the delay, isn't it, on the Zoom?
Yeah.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.